This is the OnePlus One, which the company claims is the flagship killer. Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the full in-depth review for this OnePlus One, and I'll be sharing the pros and cons that I've faced with this device in this review. So this is the OnePlus One, and it comes in the sleek box. And I've already done the unboxing of this device, so you can check out my unboxing video to get a hands-on overview. This OnePlus One sports a 5.5-inch screen, which is an IPS grade screen, and it's a 1080p screen. And if you notice, the viewing angles are also very nice, and it's a pretty bright screen. Again, it sports flagship specs like the Snapdragon 801 chipset. It comes with 3 gigs of RAM, and the variant I have is known as the Sandstone variant, and this comes with 64 gigs of internal storage. There is also one more variant that comes with 16 gigs, but this is the 64 gig variant. And let me give you a physical overview first. On the top, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. We also have another hole over here for secondary microphone. And this is the tiny power on off button that we have. It's pretty tactile. And on the bottom, we have the speaker grill. This is the micro USB slot, the main microphone. And on this end, we have the volume rocker. And here you insert your micro SIM card. This also accepts a nano SIM card. With the latest versions of now OnePlus One, they are bundling a nano SIM tray also. So it works with micro SIM as well as the nano SIM. Moving towards the back, we again have one more microphone, 13 megapixel rear facing camera with dual LED flash. And again, this finish is a little bit different. This is the sandstone finish that they call, and it's actually a little bit rough. But again, the good thing is that it does not attract any fingerprint magnets. But if you look very closely, there are some scars here. So if this is scratched very harshly with a coin or something, then you might see those scars. So that is the issue with the back of this one. And now moving towards the front, we have a 5 megapixel front facing camera, which is actually pretty good. And we have this earpiece, and in terms of cellular or audio quality, I would say it was pretty decent, but not the best. If I would have to rate it, if I would say the best is 10, I would give the cellular call quality on this device to 8 out of 10. It's not bad, but again, it could have been better in my opinion. Moving towards the bottom, again, you'll notice I'm using the on-screen buttons, but this OnePlus One also has physical capacitive buttons. Let me show you that. Let's enable that. If you just go to the settings, and if you go to buttons option, I'm on this on-screen buttons. If I disable that, now if you notice, I'm using the physical button. This is home, this is for the menu, and this is for the back. Again, the backlighting for these are backlit buttons, but it is very faint, so it's hardly visible, the backlight. But definitely you can toggle between the on-screen buttons or the physical home buttons. Now let's look at the settings also, and this is running a custom variant of Android that runs on Android KitKat, but it runs on CyanogenMod 11S, and hence we have a lot of customization that is available on this device. Let me actually first let me show you this. We all obviously have these quick toggle tray, and you can customize this, but if you hit here, you also have access to these, and if you click here, you get to all the settings. And as it runs CyanogenMod, you have a lot of settings, but let's look at the Android version. And as you can see out of the box, it runs with KitKat 4.4.4, and we will soon be getting the Android L update also on this device. Regarding storage, as I mentioned, it's in 2 variants. Let's look at the storage tab. This is the 64 gig variant, and out of the box you get about 55 gigs available to you. As I've been using this phone for a month, I've installed a lot of apps and games also. Still, as you can see, I have 46 gigabytes of space that is available to me. But one thing to note is that we do not have any micro SD card slot on this device. So the storage is what you get. And I would say if you are a sort of a power user, go with the 64 gig variant. Hence, there'll be no issues regarding storage. We also get these gestures on this device, but if you notice, I have disabled all these gestures because sometimes I did notice that even though when I was not enabling those gestures, they were getting activated by mistake. Hence, I disabled them. This device also has double tap to wake. For example, right now the device is on standby. If I just double tap on the screen, you can just wake it up, and it works actually very well. Now, as we are connected to my Wi-Fi network, also regarding cellular connectivity, the cellular connectivity was pretty good. Let me actually disable this Wi-Fi and let us go over 3G. And as you can see, it's quickly latched onto my 3G network. Let's do some web browsing, and let's open the Chrome web browser. Let's switch on and let's go to readup.com. Regarding the screen quality is also very good. And if you notice, the whites look actually white. And again, this is on 3G. Again, if you notice how quickly it loaded, it loads the web pages very quickly. Let's force it to the desktop mode. Oops. Let me just go to change it back to, what do you say, the on-screen buttons. I like that. And as you can see, we are back to the on-screen buttons. Let's go back, hit the multitasking tray, and let's go here. And let's invoke the full desktop variant. Again, if you notice how quickly it loaded, and this is again on 3G. Again, the pinch to zoom, etc. is very responsive. It's a very powerful device. Let's open up another story, and again, if you notice how quickly it loaded. So in terms of web browsing, I had no issues with this device. Also, regarding the battery is a 3100 milliamp hour battery on this device, but it is not user replaceable. The battery is sealed inside. And in terms of battery life, I would say the battery life that I was getting on this device is excellent. It could easily last me with my regular usage up to 2 full days without any issues, which is actually amazing. But one thing to note is that OnePlus One supplies its own, charger. And for quickly charging this device, I would suggest that you use that. With that charger, approximately in 2 hours, you can charge this device. But if you use any third-party generic USB charger, it might take over 4.5 hours to charge. Also, as you might have noticed, this looks like very stock Android experience, and that is it. And also, as it is running CyanogenMod, you can also, it has the built-in theme engine, so easily you can apply themes to create a new look on this device. In fact, I have already posted a separate dedicated video regarding the special features of CyanogenMod on this device, so make sure you check that video also. Now, if we talk about the gaming on this device, I did quite a bit of gaming on this device, as you can see, and I played even some heavy games like Nova 3, Asphalt 8, and even Modern Combat, and it could play all of those games without any issues. Also, as the battery life is also very good. The good thing is that as it has ample internal storage, you can install a lot of heavy games on this device. Now, if we move to the camera performance, the rear-facing camera is a 13 megapixel shooter, and I would say it performs pretty well, but does not have the fastest shutter that I've seen. And if you can see, you have the tap to focus. Once it focuses, then it's pretty quick, I would say, and it can take the shots pretty quickly. As you can see, we took these shots, and these are also quite a few shots that I took earlier in even artificial lighting. And as you can see, even in artificial lighting, it does actually a very good job. So in terms of camera performance, the camera was actually pretty good on this device, but in very low lighting conditions and in artificial lighting where there was very little light, yes, it can struggle up a little bit. But again, if we start comparing it with many of the other devices available in this price range, then definitely the camera on this OnePlus One comes out again at the top. Also, the front facing camera, which is a 5 megapixel shooter, is also very good, and it can also shoot very good quality video. Regarding the video, the rear facing camera can also record video up to 4K. Now, if we talk about multimedia, this device does have USB OTG support, so you can just plug in a USB OTG device like this. I have this one, and you can just enable the file manager. As you can see, it has detected our USB OTG, and now let me just invoke the file manager. I'm going to use this ES File Explorer and access the USB disk, as you can see, and now I can easily access all these files. And let's have this look at this video. Let's use this player. I would suggest install the MX player. Again, as you can see, this is a full HD video and it plays it without any issues. And it's playing it directly via this USB drive. So USB OTG functionality works very well. And let me just take this out. Also, when it comes to the speaker output volume from this speaker, it is actually very loud, but again, it does not have any bass to it. In terms of loudness, I have no issues, but it hardly has any bass. So let me switch on my Wi-Fi network and let's continue. But in general performance, day-to-day performance, this phone is blazingly fast, as I mentioned earlier. So in terms of fluidness, you will have no issues with this phone. And also, as I told you, the internal microphone, etc. work very well. For example, let's try Google now. What's the weather like?
It's 25 degrees. degrees with haze in Hyderabad.
So as you can see, it's loud and clear. Let me also show you the cellular call quality. It is also very nice. And let's switch on the speaker.
Your current prepaid account balance is 233.
So as you can see, again, in terms of cellular reception also, I did not have any issues with this device. Before I give my verdict and the pros and cons with this OnePlus One, let's talk about the peculiar situation of the OnePlus One currently in India. And do note, this situation is only for India. As I have mentioned earlier, the OnePlus One comes with Cyanogen Mod 11S, and the version that is being currently sold in India also comes with the Cyanogen Mod. But the problem is Cyanogen Mod won't be providing any online updates to the OnePlus One users in India because of this exclusive agreement with Micromax. So we won't be getting any OTA updates, that is known as software updates, on the OnePlus One. But OnePlus One has addressed this issue. They said that they will be soon releasing their own version of the Android ROM that will be based on Android L, that is Android Lollipop. And they said that this will be available by February 2015. And we need to flash that ROM on our OnePlus One. And thereafter, we will be getting the Android updates later on. So that's one gray area for the OnePlus One for Indian users. So I thought you should be aware of that. Now let's move to the pros and cons of this OnePlus One. The biggest pro I would say with the OnePlus One is the price to performance ratio. It's a flagship device. It sports a Snapdragon 801 chipset, which is again found in many of the flagship devices for 2014 like the Samsung Galaxy S5, HTC One M8 and even the LG G3. The OnePlus One also has that same quad-core processor that's based on the Snapdragon 801 chipset, and it's a very fast processor. Also, it has 3 gigs of RAM, and regarding internal storage, I would suggest that you go with the 64 gig variant. Hence, the internal storage is also not an issue with this device. Also, in terms of day-to-day performance with this device, which actually really matters, it's a very impressive device. I never faced any issues of lagginess or anything on this device. So it handles Android very well, and it's a pleasure to use. Also, and when we talk about the battery life on this OnePlus One, as I mentioned earlier, is stellar. So overall, I would say it's a great Android phone and it works very well. Now let's talk about some of the minor cons, and I would say this is sort of nitpicking. The first con I would say is the build quality is excellent, but again, this OnePlus One, as it sports a 5.5-inch screen, is a big device, and I would say due to its bezels, it's slightly on the larger side. It almost in terms of size is equivalent to a Note 3. So if you do not like large screen device, then this device might not be for you. Another thing is that specifically on the sandstone variant, though it's really nice and it resists fingerprints, but if you have very heavy scratches like scratches from coins, etc., those will be visible. Next, if we move to the camera, though the 13 megapixel camera and the front facing camera 5 megapixel are excellent, but in very low lighting conditions and in difficult artificial lighting conditions, the camera does struggle up a little bit. But again, considering the price to performance ratio, the camera performance is also very good. But the biggest con that I have with this device is actually buying this device. To buy this device, you have to get an invite, and getting that invite is pretty difficult. So even if you like the device and if you want to buy it, you got to have that invite. So in fact, buying a OnePlus One is in fact very difficult. Also, another negative aspect of this device is, as this OnePlus One is relatively new in India, yes, they do have some service centers, but these service centers are just limited to top tier cities, and we do not know what will be the service of this OnePlus One as of now because it's very new. But even with these minor shortcomings, etc., and if you have a mid-range budget, and if we take into account the price to performance ratio, this OnePlus One gets a big thumbs up from me. I've also posted several other videos on this OnePlus One covering its various other aspects, so make sure you check them out. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.